All right, so hi everyone, and welcome to our class today. So this is the class 5 for our CSS, and we've focused on different topics around CSS in our previous classes. We've talked about different ways of styling your HTML document, inline styling within this style tag, styling using the style tag within the head tag. Talked about external CSS styling. Of course, we've talked about CSS selectors, talked about specificity. That's the order of priority of styles application. We've also talked about borders, talked about different layouts. We've talked about typography and fonts. We've talked about colors and backgrounds, borders and shadows. Yeah, so also talked about different dimensions or different units of measurement in CSS, where we have pixels, that's PX for pixels, EM for M, right? It's actually just called EM. And we have rem, that's REM. So let me just show you REM. We've done that demonstration in a previous class. Yeah. So REM for roots EM. And we also talked about percentage, talked about VW to be viewport width, VH to be viewport height. So you can actually check our previous videos on the YouTube channel so that you'll be able to catch up with all of this. We've talked about that the browser's default font size is actually 16 pixels. And today we want to talk about responsive web design. So what we want to do is let's create a new HTML for this. So let's say, so we've had index.html, we've had index 2, index 3, so we can say maybe index 4. Index 4.html. All right. So this is what we are going to use. We are using a fresh HTML file for this demonstration. So as usual, you would get your default document structure by typing HTML:5. Then you just press enter. So it brings out this for you. So by default, title is document. So you can change it to say responsive web design. Okay, so let's create a new style sheet. Maybe styles 2, for example, .css. All right, so these are style sheets, and we want to apply these styles to index 4. That's where we currently have our new document structure. So we can say, remember we use the link tag within the head tag, right? Sorry, just hold on. Okay. So we use the link, and within the link, we actually have rel. Rel is an attribute for relationship. So the question is, what's the relationship with that external file you want to bring in? So we say it's actually style sheet. Okay, so href, that's hyperlink reference to say where is the link to the resource that you're trying to add. So we just say // go to our styles2.css. So with this, we've actually linked our styles to this. So as you can see, you have a lot of a lot of HTML files, right? So if you do not use this, with this link, or let's just say with this link, rel style sheet, it helps you to, target the particular styles you want to connect with this our HTML at this point. So that's why on this line 6, that's actually what we've achieved to say link relationship is style sheets, then href, which is hyperlink reference. So we say dot forward slash, and we have our styles2 dot css. So we actually come to our styles2 dot css to say okay, just to confirm that that linking is correct. So let's start our body tag to say background color, maybe light blue, for example. All right. So come to index4.html. So we have nothing here. So for now, let's remember we need to open with live server. So you right click, go to open with live server. So it will automatically open the browser for you. So as you can see, this is where we are. So we've successfully linked our CSS to our HTML, and we have the background color of light blue. So yeah. All right. So responsive web design. So what is responsive web design? Let me make a little note here. That's right. So responsive web design is designing your websites to fit appropriately on different screen sizes, right? So that's responsive web design, because at the end of the day, your website is going to be viewed on, it will be viewed on a laptop, it will be viewed on a desktop, it will be viewed on a tablet, it will be viewed on a phone, right? And you know that each of these devices have different screen sizes, right? So when you are developing your website, you want so by default, what you have is just desktop view by default. So you are the one that will organize your code to say if this code is going to be displayed on an Android phone, or let me not use the word Android now. Let's say a phone. Let's just say a smartphone. If my website is going to be displayed on a smartphone, I want it to look like this. I want the border to be arranged. I want the text to be arranged. I don't want this to get out of hand, where the users would have to be scrolling to the left. Users will have to scroll to the far left or far right to be able to see my all the content of my web page, right? And thankfully, I think all browsers, if you inspect, right, you right click, you inspect, all browsers actually have these dimensions, responsiveness here. So this comes by default. So I'm actually using Chrome. So you can see where I put my cursor here is mobile. You can see mobile screen 320 pixels. If you go again, you see another screen size for mobile 375. If you go again, you see another screen size, mobile large, right? Yeah. So I think this is medium, small, mobile S, small screen, mobile M, medium, 375 pixels. So you see mobile L, large, 425 pixels. If you go again, you see tablet, right? So tablet, 768 pixels. If you go again, you have 1024, that's laptop. Beyond 1024 is you now have desktop, right? So this browser gives you something like this to work with. So when you click on each of these bands, so like here where you have mobile S, so you can click on it. So when you click on your Chrome or on your browser, you're going to see how your website will look like when somebody opens it on a phone. If you click to the next one, it will expand. So you're also going to see, we've not started typing yet, but I'm just showing you You're also going to see how your website is going to look like on a screen size that's on a phone that has a screen size of 375 pixels. So when you click here again, this is still mobile. So you're actually going to see how your website will behave, right? Or will show, will display. If you click here, same thing. It will show you on a tablet, or this is how your website will look like. And so this can help you to make adjustments on your code to All right, so yeah, sorry about that. I was lost. My network threw me out, yeah. So let's go ahead. Share, currently sharing. All right. So we are here, and I was explaining the different screen sizes and what responsiveness really has to do. It has to do with the behavior of your website on different screen sizes. So if you even come here where you have responsive, you click on it, so you can even see different, you can even see different phones, right? Samsung Galaxy, you can see a lot. So if you click on iPhone SE, okay, Daniel, please go ahead. See your hand raised.
Good morning, sir. I don't know. My own screen does not have these different screen size, mobile, laptop, and the rest. I don't know if
Sorry,
that's
could you
that's
speak
the
up a
one.
bit? Your voice is going down. I'm struggling to hear.
I said my screen does not have this feature that you are trying to show us. The mobile size, the laptop, and the rest. On top of,
Are you using a laptop?
I'm using a laptop. Yes.
What browser are you using?
I'm using Chrome now.
So have you inspected? Did you click on inspect?
I inspect.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
So what did you see? What did you get?
What I saw was a plain web, like nothing on top of it.
Okay, so can you share your screen for a few minutes? Let's see what you're talking about. So I'll stop
I
sharing
also think he has not clicked the second or on the left side. That other this thing that look like a phone.
this,
Yeah, on the
this.
landscape. Yeah, I think he has not clicked the second one, the one that look like landscape and also portrait. I guess. I mean by your left on the under the inspect side.
Under the inspect,
Yeah,
under.
this up. I mean at the top rather left top right, not the other react the other side. Now when you click inspect, you've been clicking this other place before to like and check the code. Then the next, I think you click the next place. Though we didn't see it, I just guessed this is what you did, so I also did the same. My mind is showing exactly what you're showing. So the second
Okay,
one,
yours is showing. Let me
yeah,
close again. So you click on inspect.
Okay, you are using a Mac. Okay, if it's a Windows, you click on, if you check the top how do I call it
Okay,
now?
sorry, sir. Can you share your screen? Meka, can you share your screen
Okay, how do I
and
share?
demonstrate? Yeah, so that those using Windows
I joined using my phone. I'm also using system. Okay, let me see if I can join.
or anyone just share your screen. I want to see anyone using
Okay,
Windows.
wait, let me share my screen with this, and then I will just capture what I'm doing. Share screen, share screen, share screen, share screen.
Okay, so
Is it showing? Am I sharing the screen?
I can't see your screen. I hope you can. I hope you are seeing the share button.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it brought out Microsoft One, Google Drive, Box, and the rest. Do I just go to screen and share?
Yeah, share your entire desktop.
I
When
didn't
you click
connect.
on share, you see different windows show up. Just there's one that says entire screen. So click on it and click share.
I'm connecting with my phone. Though I am also with system, but I'm using my phone for this.
Okay, you're using your phone. Okay. Is there anyone using system like your Zoom is on your laptop and you can just share your screen? I need someone to share a screen that is Windows. Okay, so I think we just continue since we are streaming live. We'll continue. So, but I don't know. So, how do we do to accommodate
You can go on. I'm also trying to connect with.
Daniel? Okay, so I think that's what we do. If anyone who is able to connect with anyone who is able to connect with laptop and you can share your screen with Windows, you can always let me know so that we can go back. But for now, let's go ahead. All right. So so with this, yeah, you can click here where you have responsive, you have different, phones. This is iPhone SE, right? So iPhone SE is what actually has that 375. Let's see, maybe iPhone 12 Pro. So you can see iPhone 12 Pro, right? You can see iPad mini. This is the screen size of iPad. This is how iPad mini looks like. So you can see how your website is actually going to look on different devices. What else do we have here? Samsung Galaxy A51. So this is how it looks like. 412 pixels. That's the screen size. Next hub. Okay. Next up is 1024. That's a tablet. So with this, right, you're able to move around to say, okay, oh, this is how my website is going to look like, and on different screen sizes, right? So let's go to the code. That's the concept of responsive web design, right? And let's see responsive web design. All right. So we have some things to look out for or some things to bear in mind, you know. Okay, sorry, Control Z. So we have some things to bear in mind when trying to make your website to be responsive, right? So number one, a couple of things. Make sure that your make sure that make sure that your meta name is set to viewport, right? That's actually very important. So what do I mean? I mean this line of code, this number 5, this line 5 here. Make sure you have this line 5, very important. Make sure you have this line 5. So this line 5 just tells the browser that whatever thing you are typing should just take the full browser window. That's what you are saying, because that's what viewport is. Viewport is just the physical part. Okay, so this is viewport. Let me show you. Sorry, let me. Okay, so viewport is just the physical part. Let me stop. Yeah. So as you can see here, viewport is here, where you have my cursor, all through to your far right, then down, left and go up. In fact, all this area where you can see my cursor, that's your viewports, right? So that's important to have. Make sure that your meta naming is set to viewport, content width, text the device width, and the initial scale 1.0. So that will always come by default, but just in case, something to watch out for. So we also have some what we call media queries. Media queries. We are going to look at media queries in a bit. So media queries is just so with media queries, so let's just say with media queries, you're able to target specific, yeah. So you can say specific or different screen sizes, right? Different screen sizes, right? And apply styles to them. So you can say apply styles to them. Okay, so that's with media queries. So let's see. Okay, Harry, you can't see my screen. Please, can anyone confirm?
I can see your screen.
Okay. So if you can't see my screen, what you can do is you can opt out and come in again. Yeah. All right. Okay, great. So let's go ahead. We have media queries. So with media queries, you're able to target specific screen sizes and actually apply styles to them. So we also have what we call, flexbox, right? CSS flexbox that's equally used for responsive web design. We also have CSS grid layouts, yeah, layouts. So you can say flexbox layouts, right? These are just layouts. What else? That's you also need to be mindful of dimensions, right? So dimensions, or unit of measurements for your styles, yeah. So dimensions, we have stuffs like percentage. We talked about that in our last class. We have stuffs like VW, that's view width. We have stuffs like VH. So you can measure or you can give this unit of measurements to different elements on your web page, right? Instead of giving something like px, instead of saying px, because px is fixed, that's pixels, is fixed. When you say 50 pixels, is 50 pixels. There's no, if you try to resize that website, it will never change to 40 and 10. It's not dynamic, it does not change. 50 pixels is 50 pixels, that's fixed. So, but if you have view width, so remember the view width is just this entire width. So it means that the view width is going to change. If you use a mobile phone, so it means that the view width of that mobile phone, it will also change according to the width of that phone. So when you use dimensions like view width, what you are saying is that just adjust, maybe you say 100 view width, for example, 100 view width, for example. What you are just saying is that adjust whatever we've given 100 view width to, just adjust it according to whatever screen that website is going to be displayed on. So with that 100 view width it makes it very dynamic, because if you put it on a tablet, if you display it on a tablet is 1024 pixels. So when you say 100 view width, so when you say 100 view width, is like saying 100% of the viewport width. So if you display, it means that if your website is going to display on a tablet, which is 1024 pixels, when you say 100 view width, you are telling it, take the entire 1024 pixels width of that tablet. If you display it on a laptop, which is like maybe is over 2000 pixels, so what you are saying is that, or say desktop, desktop is over 2000 pixels. So you are just saying, when you say 100 view width, you are saying display this element on the full width of that desktop. So with that, you don't have to come and say, when you are doing your media queries, you don't have to come and define to say at at XYZ screen size, reduce this width from maybe 20 pixels to like 10 pixels or something. We are going to go deeper into it, but just to let you know that you should be mindful of dimensions that you use, right? You should use more of percentages. You still use pixels. It doesn't mean you should take away pixels totally from your work, but just to let you know, something that can stretch, right? Something that can expand and equally contract and will still retain the layout and give you something very stunning and appealing. So we are still going to practicalize all of this, but just to let you know that this is something you should be mindful of in responsive web design. Use more of percentages, view width, view height. There are also stuffs like max widths. Also have stuffs like max widths,
Sorry, sir.
max
Have the
widths.
person gotten that?
So the
And
person that asks, is it Daniel?
Yes, I've gotten it. There's a icon close to the elements. This
okay,
screen
okay,
small phone,
all
so
right,
I just click on it and it's displayed
all right.
inside.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Thanks. So you also have stuffs like max widths, right? You can, there's max width, there's mean width, right? There's mean width. So when you say max width, what you just mean is that that element can grow. It can grow to take that max width. So max is just maximum width. So if you say max width of maybe 400 pixels, right? So if there's currently no sufficient space, maybe it's on a smaller screen, it means it can shrink, right? If it is on a bigger device, it means it can grow to 400 pixels where it has sufficient space. So these are stuffs that are a bit dynamic, where you have max width and you have mean width. It helps the element to either increase or reduce automatically without you having to tell it, like to write another line of code to say increase at this screen size or reduce at this screen size. So just to let you know, things you should be mindful of that would aid you in your responsive web design. And also, while designing, please design for mobile first. Design for, or use the mobile first approach. You can say that. Use the mobile first approach, right? So use the mobile first approach, meaning that if you take statistics of people that are visiting the internet, you will discover that most people visit the internet with their phones more than any other devices, right? There are more phones opening websites than tablets. There are, opening a website than tablets and laptops and desktops. So with that, that comes the concept of mobile first, meaning that as you are designing your website, consider making your website mobile friendly, right? First, before laptop. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so yeah. All right. So let's start. So let's create a div, right? And within this div, let's have different divs to say maybe div, another div, call it 1. Then you have another div, and you say 2. Then you have another div. There's actually a shortcut for this, but I'm just typing it one after the other. But there's a shortcut. Let me just show you the shortcuts, just in case you can learn it and master it. So let's say we want to create this, right? This is what we want to do. Div, a parent div, while the rest of these divs are children, right? So if you want to just use a shortcut, you just say, so what do you want to say? You would say div, div, then you bring in the right angle bracket. So remember, this right angle bracket signifies children. It shows that anytime you see that right angle bracket, maybe in like CSS or maybe in a shortcut like this, it means that you are trying to target the children. So when you say div right angle bracket, then you can now say div again. So this div now stands for these children, which are 1, 2, 3. So you can now say multiplied by 3, asterisk 3. So let's look at it. In fact, I've not even pressed enter, but look at the emmet abbreviation, already telling you what you're going to see. So you're going to see div, you're going to see a parent div, and you're going to see children. Yeah. So if you click enter, so you see by clicking enter, it has given me this. So what I just need to do is just to fill in the contents. This one I had 1, 2, 3. So I could equally say 1. Come here, say 2. Come here, say 3. Okay, so but let's control Z. So I can just comment out this for you, just to comment it out so that you can remember. Okay, so sorry, enter. So I can actually bring this inside. So this shortcuts, so I can say shortcuts or shorthand, anyone. Okay, so just to mention that, so we have a div, and let's give this div a class, class of, I don't know, maybe parent or flex. Let's just say, okay, let's say flex container. Flex container. All right. So this is what I want to use for illustration, right? So we are okay. So let's okay. So we have this, right? Let's do media queries. We'll still come back to this demonstrating CSS Flexbox, because that's where I was heading to on these lines 23 to 27. So, but before then, let's just demonstrate media queries just quickly. Yeah. So remember, we have body. Background color is light blue. So if you want to show your media queries, this is actually the syntax at media, right? Media. So after at media, so you can decide to say screen, right? Screen. And okay, so screen, then you have bracket to say max width. You're going to see what this resolves to. Max width, say maybe 768 pixels. Then Okay, so I think there is an and here. Okay, great. So what does this mean? So let me just put a comment to say media. Let me put a comment to say media queries or media query or queries, anyone. Okay, so this is how it is written at media screen. So this media screen just stands for screen just says, okay, by default, your website, your browser defaults to screen. So whether you put this screen or you do not, when this website is going to display on your browser, this screen comes like your browser defaults to screen. So the other parameters here like print. So, but here we are not trying to show a print preview, right? A print preview. What we are just doing is we just want our website to show on different browsers. So we use screen, right? So, but just understand that by default, your browser resolves to screen. So whether you put this screen or you do not put this screen, if you don't put this screen, you can say something like this. You can say at media, then you have max width, max width. So max width is just like maximum width, right? 768 pixels. Then you open your curly braces. So this will work exactly like this, right? Because immediately your browser sees this and does not see screen, it's going to default to screen. So, but you might see screen in other, people's code, right? But just to let you know that whether there is screen or there is no screen, your browser defaults to screen and it's actually going to work. So, but let's use screen. Let's comment out this. Let's use screen. So when you say at media screen and max width 768 pixels, what do you mean? Basically, it's just from 0 pixels. So let me show you. Okay, so let's inspect. So 0 pixels. So when we say 0 pixels of width, you can see here max width. So we are saying it's just like saying from 0 pixels to 768 pixels, do this, right? That's what it means. So here you can say body, you can say body. So you can bring in your style. So you can see how we do it. Initially, we just had body outside, but when we brought in media query, we brought in our body. So whereas we had given background color light blue to our body on a normal display, but within, so what we are trying to say that from 0 pixels of screen size to 768 pixels of screen size, we want to change the background color. Background color to green, right? Green. Let's do something else for, okay, so let's say at media, you are going to see how it works. At media, you can say max width. So max width, maybe 1024 pixels, 1024 pixels. So you can still bring in that body, right? Body, and define, and you want to tell it that at 1024 pixels, like what you're just saying is that when your laptop is when your website is opened on a device that has 1024 pixels as the maximum width, right? Meaning that it could be anything from 0 to 1024. That's what it is. But if you say mean width, mean, M-I-N, okay, I'm still going to demonstrate mean width. So if you say mean width, what you are saying is that from 1024 upwards, So, but let's use max first. Let's use max. We are going to demonstrate mean. Max width. So let's say background color. We are still playing around with the background color. and we want the background color to be red, right? Red. So this is, okay, 768, 1024. So this is max 1024. So let's say mean at this point. So mean is just going to mean that media, that's from 1024 upwards. So mean width 1024. Okay. So I think what I can do is let me comment. Let me add some notes here to say, so when you have media screen, and so you're saying that from 0 pixels of width, 0 pixels of width to 768 pixels of screen size. So screen width, you can say screen width. Then you want the styles, you want the defined styles to apply, right? The styles you define within that styles to apply, right? So same thing, for this. So I think I can just copy this comment and modify it. Okay, so drop it here. So what you're saying here is that still from 0. So here now will be 1024. 1024. Yeah, so you want this to apply. And if you come here, so what you are saying is that from 1024 pixels, 1024 pixels of width to the largest screen width, from 1024 pixels of width and greater. Yeah, so you can use that word, from 1024 pixels of width and greater. That's beyond anything beyond 1024 pixels. You want the defined styles to apply. So that's what it is. So you can say body. You can still bring in your body here, and within you say background color should be maybe blue violet. So what we've done is that this is body. We said background color should be light blue. By default, it's going to be light blue. But now we are saying that from 0 pixels to 768 pixels, let our background color be green. Then here we are saying from 0 pixels still to 1024 pixels, let our background color be red. Here we are saying from 1024 pixels and above, let our background color be blue violet. So you might want to ask, here we are saying 0 to 1024. Here we are saying 0 to 768. And we said background color should be red. And we said here background color should be green. So which one is going to apply? So what happens is from 0 to 768, you are going to see green color as the background. But anything from 768, let's say from 769 to 1024, is actually going to be red. Then from 1024 upwards is actually going to be blue violet. But by default, the background color will be light blue. So let's check it out. Let's go to our yeah. Okay, so okay, so you see we have red. Why do we have red? Let's go back to our code. We have red because the background color, because this screen size that is currently being displayed that you are seeing at the moment is more than or beyond 1024 pixels. That's why you have, okay, no. Let's see. Media max width 1024, okay. So background color is red. Okay. Sorry, let me check out something. Let me inspect. Let's see. this, we still have red. Okay, at 1440 we have blue violet. Okay, let's see. We have red at 768. Okay, so let's check it out. Okay, so this one actually overrode this. Okay, so just hold on. Let me see something. Okay. Okay. So all right, so this one says 0 to 120 1024 background color should be red. Okay, so if we come here and okay, let's be more explicit, right? So let's say at media mean width, let's say mean width, or okay, so let's come here and say mean width. Let's come here to say mean width. So let's say mean width, let's say 769 pixels. Then and max width. Okay, so this one we have at media. Let's put the screen back here, screen, and okay, so at media screen and max width 768, let it be green. So at media mean width 769, meaning that just after 768, and max width, okay, between 768 to 1024, want it to be red. Then from minimum width of 1024, okay, we want it to be blue violet. So let's check it out. Okay, so at this point I've actually defined it. So just to correct the first information I had said. So when you say at media screen and max width 768, if you now have at media 1020 max width 1024 that we had initially, what we have in 1024 is actually going to override 0 to 768. So let me just still demonstrate it again. So what I mean is that if we have at media, okay, so at media max width, okay, so max width 1024, and we bring in body here, just like we saw initially, right? We bring in body here and we make the color to be I don't know, maybe any other color like this, yellow or something. Let's say something like this. So if we have just these two, right? Max width here is saying 0 to 768, and here is saying 0 to 1024. Okay, 1024 pixels, px, right? So what that means is that what is here is actually going to override this. So if we comment out this so that we not have conflict, let's comment out these other ones first. Let's comment this out first. Okay, so what we just have is 0 to 768. This is what this means. And here we have 0 to 1024, right? So so you see that color is actually going to overwhelm. So you see that the screen size here is 320. So you can even use this to increase the screen size or reduce, you know, or put your own values, right? Or you can use this cursor here to shift it gradually to the right, you know. As you move it, you are going to see, let's see, that's 768. Okay, so 768. So 1440, it still has this color. Okay, so this 1440, it takes the light blue. At 1440 pixels, it takes light blue. Why? 1440. Remember, we had said max width should be 1024. That means 0 to 1024. So anything beyond 1024 is going to go back to these defaults. So what I have here is the default, right? Body. When I just said body, background color, light blue. So your web page is going to prioritize the media queries. So your media query will have priority over this normal styling, depending on what I had set for the screen. So if I say media screen and max width 768, that's 0 to 768. It means that by default, I've already told my web page what color it should have between 0 pixels of display and 768 pixels of display. So that's going to be green. It should take green. Then instead of this light blue. But coming here, this line, I've also said that 0 to 1024 should take this other background color. So from here, I have also demonstrated that if you have something like this, these are more like two conflicting styles or media queries, where you say 0 to 768 and 0 to 1025, 1024. So where you have these two, what you have in the higher rank, which is 1024, is actually going to override what you have in the lower rank. But now, beyond 1024, it's actually going to default. It's going to go back to the default body background color that we had, because we've not defined anything. You know, I had commented out these other ones down here, right? So because we've not defined anything to tell the browser that, okay, after 2024, do this. So the browser will just default to the initial body background color styling, which is light blue. So that's why coming here again, you have this 1440, which is greater than 1024. It takes the light blue. But if you shrink it, let's shrink it gently. And we are watching out for 1024. 1024. So you can see at 1023, it takes up another color. So, but this color will not change to another color because we had said 0 to 1024 should have this color, right? And it actually overrides this. But if we want to be very clear and, which of course it should be very clear, you don't want styles overshadowing the other ones and probably getting you confused. So let's comment out this one and be very clear and define min width and max width like we have done here. Mean width. So remember, the first one stopped at 768. So we are now saying from 769 to 1024. Mean, that's minimum, 769, maximum, 1024. Have a background color of red. So what we are going to see is that from 0 to 768 is going to be green. Beyond 768 to 1024 is going to be red. Then from 1024 upwards is going to default to this background color of light blue. Why? Because we have not yet defined anything. Remember, this one is, we've commented out this. So we have not defined anything, any background color for screen size beyond 1024. So let's check it out. So this is 579. It takes green. So if you shrink the screen size, anyhow you want it to still take green because that's like 0 to 768. But let's check after 768, what do we have? So do you see already this is 7, yeah? So you can see entry into 769, 800 is red. So if we keep increasing it to 1024, so you can see this is 1026 and it's light blue, right? So you can see it will just keep being light blue. All right. Okay. Yeah. So if you come here, yes, min width 769, max width 1024, right? So if you come here, so let me correct this comment. So from 769 pixels of width to 1024, all right? So that works. This one is from 0 to 768, yeah? While this one is from we said mean width, mean. Okay, so from 1024 upward is actually going to take blue violet. So let's uncomment it. So this one is anything beyond 1024 will be blue violet. So by so doing, our initial background color, which is from lines 1 to lines 3, will not show again because we have told our web page to say 1024 and above. So we did not put any limits, right? No max width. We just said minimum 1024. So from 1024, just keep going to the end, to the largest screen size possible. Give us blue, violet. Okay, so let's see how that works. So remember, we have green from 0 to 768, and we have red from 768 to 1024. And after 1024, we have blue, violet. And it doesn't matter how you grow and you keep going. Let's see. This is 1440. You see, this is 2560. It's still blue, violet. If you go again, I think that's the max, 2560. So this is just a demonstration of media queries, responsive web design, responsive. How will your website show on different screen sizes? It is from this media query, right? It's from media query that you actually determine what. So this is just background color. You can change anything. So it's not just background. You can say font size. So font size, maybe by default, font size is like maybe 20 pixels, for example. But you can come here. So you want to say, so do you see this small screen? So you can, for a small screen, you can reduce the font size to say, let the font size, since it's going to be a small screen, let the font size be maybe 14 pixels, right? That's for the body. Everything that is within the body elements, let it have a font size of 14. That's when a user displays my website on a mobile device, 0 to 768 pixels. Then for tablets, you can say font size. Tablet will be a bit bigger. So font size, you can say maybe 18 pixels. Then for anything greater than 1024, you can still, it depends on what you want, right? Font size, maybe if you even say 24 pixels. Okay, 24. So you're actually going to see the difference. It's still the same thing. So this is 320. And you can see how small our text is. I want something very significant so that we'll see the difference. Something very significant. So initially was 14. Let's make the next one 28 instead of 18. I need it to be significant. So this is 24. So let's make it 44, for example, so that we'll be able to see the graduation. Okay, so we had 14, we had 20, then 28 and 44. So let's see. So this is 14, right? So if you keep increasing to 768. So you can see the font size has changed. It's becoming bolder, right? Okay, so okay, there's no more space. So let me just click on this. Okay, or this. Okay, this 768. So sometimes you will need to reload. If you don't see your responsive, your media query, right? The styles in your media query applying, sometimes you may just need to reload just to be sure. Yeah. So so this 7. Okay. I want to get to a bigger screen size. Okay, this 1024. So you can see 1024 is larger. Then do you see at, let me see, this 2560, it becomes, let me see, 2560 defaults to, let me see, 2560 defaults to font size of 20 pixels. But why do we have that? Because we had said from 1024 upward. So let's just reload. Okay, this 2560. Okay, so let's scroll down and shrink it. Let's see. So to 1020, 1024. So I think what happened here? Okay. So why it's, if you look at my browser, I think I understand what happened. So because we wanted to display 2560. So do you see that the zoom here dropped? The zoom here dropped to 30%. So you also need to be mindful, because it's easy to just assume that, what happened to my code at 2560? The font size had reduced, but it's not supposed to reduce. But remember here, it has changed the zoom. Why did it change the zoom? Because it wants to accommodate that pixels, 2560 pixels within this window from here to here. So it had to reduce the zoom. But if you make the zoom 100%, zoom, let's make it 100%. So you see, when you say 100%, because this screen size is actually small, right? Here to here is small, and it's not actually 2560. So when you say 100%, this is the highest it can go, 100% for 845. So it means that from here to here is actually 845 pixels. If we want to get something maybe like up to 900, we might just have to shrink it to the right. So let me see if this right can shrink. Okay. So I've done some shrinking to the right. So we can now come here and increase. Can you see? Remember that the zoom is still at 100. So you can always be watching this zoom so that you'll be able to know exactly how your website is behaving. So you can expand, 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 right? So yeah, so you can just play around with this. When you inspect it, you can always move it to the left, move it to the right, or you click on these buttons. You can click on these stuffs to see, okay, how does it behave at this point? But also be mindful of the zoom, because you might be a bit deceived to say, my code is not working at this screen size. I'm not getting what I'm supposed to get. So be mindful of the zoom. Can you see that at 1440, my browser has automatically reduced the zoom to 75%. So what that means is that what you are seeing here is 75% of the actual. So you might actually think that nothing has changed, but something has actually changed, but it's because of the percentage here. So it's important to be mindful of this. Yeah. So I can close this. So when I close it, it takes green. So why does it take green? Let's see. So yeah, media screen and Mac suites should take green. Okay. So at 1024 should take red. This one should take blue violet. So it's not supposed to take green. Yeah, it's not supposed to take green because, okay, it's not supposed to take green. So let's do something. Let's copy this and open a new tab, and let's paste it. More like this is our URL. Let's enter. It's still taking green. So why do we have green? Let's check. Let's try to troubleshoot. Why do we have green? Because this screen size is actually greater than, I believe this screen size is greater than is greater than 768. Yeah, it is. So, but why does it have green? So let's see. Okay, so this one is red. This one is blue, violet. Okay, so let me inspect once again. Okay, so this is where we are. So let me exit this inspect and see. Still comes to green. Okay, so let's see. This is green. At this is still green. Okay, 768. Okay, this is blue, violet. Okay, this is blue, violet. So I actually I don't expect green on this website. So why do we have green? So let's try to troubleshoot and see. Okay, so let's load the open with live server again. It still text green. Okay, so let's try something. Okay, so we have green. Okay, so if we comment out this, it takes light blue. Okay. Okay, so let's try something. Let's be explicit here and say and max width max width. Okay, so let's say max width maybe 1024 to let's say maybe 15 pixels. Okay, so 15 pixels. Let me see. Okay, let's inspect again. At this point, okay, we have light blue at 320. Let me see. Light blue at 320. Okay, so that's because we have commented out this media screen and 768. So it's going to default to light blue. Okay. So we now said mean with 769. So we expect from 769 to 1024 to have red, and we expect from 1024 to 1500 to be blue violet. Okay, so let's just see. Okay, this is 2560. Okay. So I'll need to figure out why this still displayed this at media screen. Let me see. I need to figure out why this still displayed at when we said max with 768, because my screen is actually greater than 768. So I would have to just figure that out later and communicate. So, but for now, let me just comment that out. Okay. So yeah, so this media query, you can, play around with it and, try to see what happens when I do this, when I do that. But this particular lines 9 to 14 is actually unexpected. Yeah, I don't expect that behavior, which I'm still going to be able to find out later. So, but basically have demonstrated what media queries are and how you could use them, right? You could say max width. You can use max width alone. You can use mean width alone. You can use max width and mean width, right? Okay, so let's go to CSS. Let's go to CSS Flex. Yeah, CSS Flex layout, flex box layout. So flex box layout also helps you to it also helps you to make your pages responsive or to make your layout responsive. So let's comment out all of this that we have, these media queries, because it might likely conflict what we are about to do. So just to mention also that with your media query, right, you don't need to style every single thing. If you already know the rules or you know the best practices of, or maybe you know CSS Flexbox, it's actually going to reduce the number of, you know, code that you type when you come into your media query. So let me just demonstrate that. So we have div, class flex container. Div first is 1, 2, and 3, right? Let's see. Okay, so let's do this. Let's style this. So container. Let me copy so that we can demonstrate. Okay, so let's say let's scroll down. And so that's a class. So we use a dot, command V, then we open our curly brace. So that flex container, what we want to do is to give it a, okay, so let's give it a width, yeah. Let's give it a width to say 100 view width. And let's give it width to be 100 view width. Okay, so just to, okay, I will show you what 100 view width does, and I would style something else and give it another width in pixels and show you the difference. So this 100 view width. So this is our web page. So okay, so let's give it a background color so that you'll be able to see it. So let's say background color, right? So background color of maybe brown. Or Bollywood. Let's use Bollywood. Bollywood is light. Okay. So you can see this is the container. It spans from far left to my far right. And we've said it should have 100 view width, right? So what if we inspect? Let's inspect. So let's start from here at this point. So you would see that at this point, our container just fits, this container fits just directly to this screen size, right? So at this point, we didn't go to the media queries. Don't forget, we've not activated any of our media queries. We've commented all of them out. So none of them is working, is functioning at this point. But you can see, since we gave it 100 view width, so at 320, it's still full. It takes the full width. When you scroll to 375, it still takes full width. You go to the next, it takes full width. Go to the next, full width. Go to the next. So the width is going to expand. It's also going to shrink as the screen size becomes smaller or becomes larger. So that's 100 view width. But what if we had come here instead of 100 view widths and we had said, let our width be maybe 1000 pixels, for example. Maybe we really wanted to make it long. We said 1000 pixels, for example. So can you see that this is screen size 1024? So at 1024, do you see how it is? It leaves some space here. Then if you now come here at 768, okay. So if you scroll, you still see some space to the right. Okay. So let's put in some content. That's actually where we are going to appreciate it more. There's something I want to do so that you'll be able to see and appreciate um, using view width and giving a fixed dimension in pixels, right? So let's see. Okay. So this 1000 pixels. Okay, so let's try something. Let's say 500 pixels. Okay, so of course 500 pixels will be this way. Okay. Oh, oh, okay. I think I know what is happening. Let me control. Oh, so I know what's happening here. Yeah. So if you look at my zoom, the zoom of my browser, I actually zoomed my browser to, wow. So I actually zoomed my browser for the purpose of the class. I actually zoomed my browser so that things will be very bold. So, but now let me reset it to 100%. Okay, maybe that's why we're having that behavior that we had with the media query. Okay. So this is what 500 pixels is by default. I've made the zoom of my browser to be 100%. So this is my default browser, Chrome. So this is what 500 pixels looks like. Okay. So this makes sense for me. And if we say 1000, it's actually going to be double. All right. So if we inspect, let's see, inspect, let me see. Okay. Okay, yeah. So this is what I wanted to demonstrate. Yeah. So do you see that these 320 pixels? Can you see that the user for this my container that I've said which should be 1000 pixels? Can you see that at small screen, somebody that is opening this my website on a small screen has to scroll all the way? Can you see? This is 123. The person has to scroll to the right, to see whatever is at the edge of this container. So there has to be a scrolling to the left and right. And if you look at modern websites, you can't see this where you would open a website on a phone, on a mobile device, and you have to be scrolling left and right. No, that's not good user experience. It doesn't give a good user experience, right? Because I gave it a fixed width to say 1000 pixels. So at any screen size that is lower than 1000 pixels, you are going to be able to scroll. It will give you the opportunity to scroll, yeah, to the right. But this is not good user experience. You just want, when your website loads, whatever shows should just take the full width of of your device, and you just be able to scroll up, down, click on buttons and all of that. That's actually good user experience. But the one that you have to scroll to the left and right to see information is not a good, it doesn't give good user experience, right? So yeah, so I think I just needed to mention that. So, but remember we had here 100 view widths. I'm just showing you how you can use view width, and view width is going to help you with responsiveness. So if you come here, you can see that, let's reload. Okay, we've reloaded. So you can see that if you scroll, let me see, 100 view width. So why is this still scrolling left and right? I don't expect this behavior. Let me see. Okay, so let's do this first. Okay, so let's inspect again. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so that works. So sometimes you might just need to, maybe the browser just behaves funny sometimes. If you have written a code and there's something you're expecting for it to, output or for it to work, sometimes you might just need to maybe close this inspect. Maybe the browser has not cleared its cache, right? There are some cache data that the browser saves in its memory. So maybe the browser has not cleared the cache to be able to refresh. So sometimes you can decide to refresh. Sometimes you can come here. If you're already inspecting, you can close the inspect, right? And inspect again. Maybe by so doing, the browser must have cleared its cache. So you can inspect afresh because there's something you're expecting. Yeah. So So you can see at this point, it does not scroll again to the left and right. It does not. And just to also still show you, this screen size the width is currently 425 pixels. So if you come here to where we have this button and you click on it, this icon here, if you bring it here, can you see we've put it on our container? So it is showing us that the width is 425 pixels, right? You can see that the width is 425 pixels. It's going to take the width of the screen size. If we increase this screen size to 768, let's check the width. Can you see? The width is 768. So when you use view width helps your container to, or helps your elements. Anything you apply the view width to, it helps it to be able to shrink and also grow depending on the screen size that it is being displayed on. So remember, that's one of the things we use for, it's one of the parameters that we use to help us in our responsiveness. So instead of, normally, if you don't give view width, right, what you would normally do, if you gave it maybe 1000, if you gave it 1000 pixels, right? So you would come here to say at small screen, maybe you want media, at media, maybe you want to define to say at mean width of 320 pixels, and for example, and max width, max max width max width of so yeah, of what? Max width of 768 pixels. So this for small screen size. So maybe you've already given it 1000 pixels. If that you use pixels. So you can come here. This is what you will have to do, but it's more like waste of time. You have to bring in this flex container and say dot flex container. Then you open your curly brace. You now need to style this width again and adjust this width and say width should be, since you know that this screen size is between 320 and 768, you can say width should be 320. But all this is just waste of time. The width will remain 320 within this, between this pixel size. From 320 to 768 is going to be 320. Anything beyond, anything from 0 to 319 will take 1000 pixels. Then after 768, let's say 769 upwards, is going to take 1000 pixels. But from 320 to 768, the width is only going to be 320 pixels. So let's check it out. So, but you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this because this is going to waste your time. So let's go to 320. So do you see this is 320? So it fits perfectly. This mobile, it fits perfectly. If you begin to now increase it, can you see? It's going to leave spaces. And from there, you might want to start accounting for this space to go and say, how are you going to say 320 pixels be 320 pixels? At 321 pixels, let the width be 321 pixels. No, so all of that is that will take so much of your time, and that's not what you want to do. So you most likely give your dimensioning, right? The unit of measurement, you just give it in view width. When you give that in view width, it's going to save you a lot of headache, right? So width, so instead of 1000 pixels, you say 100 view width. All right. So just to show you how you can use view widths, so we are still talking about flex. So flex. Yeah, so this is view width. So now I want to demonstrate flex. I want to demonstrate flex. So remember that in these lines 23 to 27 of our HTML, don't forget that div class flex container is the parent, while these other divs inside div with content of 1, 2, 3 are the children. So let's have that in mind. So this parents, what we are looking at here is parents. So if you want to use display flex or flex box, you need to give the parent container. Let's put it at the beginning. You need to give the parent container display flex. So give the parent container. Let me put that comment. Give or make the parent let's say make the parent container. Make the parent, let's just say parent, display flex, right? That's to apply flex styling. So you can say to apply flex styling, make the parent display flex. This is very important. Make the parent to display flex. So do you see the default? When we said display flex, can you see this is the default default display direction for flex? Default display direction. So by default, when you say display flex, it's going to display it on a row. That's from left to right. So this 1, 2, 3 was initially lined up. 1 here, it was 2 followed it, then 3. But now it has come to a single line when we say display flex. Okay. So, but let's beautify these divs 1, 2, 3. Let's make 3 of them to look nice before we go ahead. So let's just try to style it. So you can say dot flex container. So now we want to use the parent. From the parent, we want to style the children. Instead of styling the children one by one, or maybe going to give, coming here to say ID, maybe giving ID or giving class, then we now target the class to start. We don't want to waste our time. So we want to just, from the parent, we already have taken hold of the parent by saying dot flex container. So we just say right angle bracket. So we are now targeting the children. So we are saying that every div that is within an element that has the ID of flex container, it should take this styling. So with this, we've targeted each of them. So what we can do is let's give each of them a width. Let's say width of I don't know, maybe 75 pixels. Then we say height. Let's give each of them a height of maybe let's make it a perfect square, 75 pixels. Okay. Then let's give each of them a background color so that we'll be able to see background color. Let's say, I don't know, maybe, I don't know what color. Maybe cornflower blue. Let's use this cornflower blue. So let's check it out. Okay, so you can see each of them have the same, but there's nothing separating each of them. So we need some kind of separation. Let's give some kind of separation. Let's use, what do we use? Let's use margin to separate them. Let's just say margin of maybe 5 pixels. Let's see. Okay. So you can see what we did. Let me go back just to show you. So we said this is the parent, right? That has dots flex container. So it actually has a class. So here what you are saying is that go to my HTML and look for an element that has a class of flex container. Now style its children, style every div under that parent. style every div. So because I have just divs, so if you come here, right, and you put in a paragraph, that paragraph will not take up this styling. And you say maybe this is a paragraph. That paragraph will not take up this styling because it wouldn't take up the styling because we only targeted the div, right? So if you check here, you see that this is a paragraph stands on its own. It does not take that background color that we gave to others because we are specific to say just div, anything div. But let's take out this paragraph. Just put it here for illustration. Okay, so we gave it a width, right? We gave it a height. So it makes it look like a box, a perfect square, right? Background color, of course, we gave it. The margin. So this margin, remember that margin is space around. If you give it a padding, you will not see. Okay, so let's give it a padding. We've talked extensively on the difference between margin and padding. So can you see padding? You wouldn't see. So padding is just going to give it. So this box is actually starting from maybe around where my cursor is. So you're going to see that from where my cursor is to where this tree is like padding of 5 pixels have been applied. But you know, padding is inward. It's not external. It's not space around. So, so where we have padding, but after padding 5 pixels, you can still give it a margin of 5 pixels. Margin 5 pixels. So you can see here, yeah, so it still creates that space around it. Okay. So then you still see padding of 5 pixels because if you comment out this padding, you will see that the content would default to, it will just go to the edge at the top and the edge to the left. So by default, every element shows at the top left. But because we put padding of 5 pixels, it tried to shift, or it shifted this element just a bit. But margin is actually what is going to give us that space around the content or around that's after the border. Remember, margin is space after border, while padding is space after content. So it's important to know that. Okay, so I want to show you. So we are still talking about CSS Flex. And we have given the parents display of flex. These are the children. So let me show you a lot of things you can do around this. We have 3 boxes. So by default, the flex direction is what? The flex direction is row by default. So let's say on the parent now. So we say flex direction is row. You will not see any difference because this is default. Nothing has changed because flex direction by default is row. So, but if we come here and say column, flex direction should be column. So can you see? They are aligned this way. This is what flex direction column does. Okay. It aligns it on a column. All right. So, so I can just put a comment here to say flex direction is row by default, right? So I can say that by default it is row. So when you use column, it actually gets to the column. Then there's something else called flex wrap. Flex wrap. All these things helps for responsiveness. So flex wrap. So by default, it is no wrap. By default, it is no wrap. So what does flex wrap mean? So in order to demonstrate flex wrap, let's change the flex direction back from column to row so that you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Row. Okay, the other parameters, there's row reverse. Okay, so there is, you can check them out. So there is row reverse, then there is column reverse. So this is row. So let's just demonstrate row reverse. Row reverse. So you can see. So when you say flex direction row is to the left here, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3. But when you say row reverse, it's still row, but now you can see it's 3, 2, 1. So it has reversed the row direction, right? That's the flex direction. That's reversed it. So instead of 1, 2, 3, it now made it 3, 2, 1, and took it to the far right. Okay. So then if you also say column, let's say column reverse. So column reverse is, so it's because we have not given a height like to this the parent. If we had said maybe the parent should be like 500 pixels, you see that all of these things will run down. So let's give it a height, maybe like 500 pixels. So can you see? I gave it a height. So you see that it's automatically going to come down. It will come down to the edge and turn. Can you see? It's 3, 2, 1. But initially it was 1, 2, 3. So that's what flex direction column reverse does. So, but let's keep it at row because I want to show you something. Row. Let's leave it at row. Let's leave it at row. So let me see. In order to make this interesting, let's give a lot of space around this and put in more boxes because I want it to extend to the far right so that I can demonstrate what flex wrap does. So let's go back to our HTML. I want to put in more boxes, maybe like maybe 3 more boxes. Let's say 3 more boxes, and here's going to be box 4. Here's going to be box 5. Here's going to be box 6. Okay, so yeah, so I have 6 boxes, and let's now give it a lot of space around. So to give a lot of space around, let's go to that margin where we had margin 5 pixels. So let's make it even 55. Let's see. Okay, so maybe we can do with this. So, but just watch what I want to show you, 55 pixels. So if we remember that our flex wrap here is no wrap. Flex wrap is no wrap. So what if we do this and inspect it? Let's see. So can you see? Can you see that? Look at how the elements now look like. It doesn't look nice at all, but it looks nice on a desktop or on a laptop. But at this point, see how it looks like. So we don't want this, right? Because when we shrink it, when we make it normal, it looks very nice. But as we keep shrinking it, it looks awkward. So what do we do? What do we do? Flex wrap will help us. So instead of no wrap, because by default it's no wrap. So but wrap, change it to wrap. So when you say wrap, you may not see any physical change, but what you are going to see is that when you inspect, you will see that these things will line up. Like this one, when it gets to the edge, it's going to go under. So let me just show you. Let's inspect. Can you see? The flex direction is going to automatically change, and will give your website something very perfect in every screen size. Because we have said flex wrap should wrap. So it means that when it gets to the edge, if the next one just come down, then it will just keep coming down. It will keep coming down. It will keep coming down. So you can increase. Can you see? I've increased it. It has been able to accommodate up to 2. So with this, you don't need to go to your, do a lot of media query to say at this breakpoint, change to this. this or do this. You understand? You don't need to do all of that. Immediately, if you understand CSS Flexbox and you understand the dimensions, like that's using view width and view height, especially for containers or layout, it's actually going to help you. It will reduce a lot of media query for you. So you can see, as you change the screen size, you are going to see how it behaves. You see, just automatically, it's going to arrange itself. So that's part of that. That's flex wrap. So wrap. Then we have what other flex? Okay, align contents and justify content and align items. Yeah, justify content and align items. I'm going to show you. So maybe you are asking. Let's say, for example, we had um, maybe we want to bring these boxes to the absolute center. Absolute center. So let's do this. Where we had height of 500 pixels, let's just say 100 view height. 100 view height. So we want it to take the full height. We don't want anything that's, to take the full height, so that even though our website increases, you just keep scrolling through. 100 view height by default. So what do we want to do? I want to also reduce the number of boxes so that we'll see what I'm trying to demonstrate. Let's make it 2 boxes maximum. 2. So you can see we have 2 boxes. So maybe you might be asking me to say, what if I want to bring these 2 boxes to the center of this browser? How do you achieve that? Because sometimes that's one of the challenges people encounter, right? How do you bring these 2 boxes, or even though it were 1, maybe you want to bring it to the absolute center and you don't want to be using margin to say margin top, margin left, and be using margin to shift it, or you want to use padding to shift it. That's not what you want to achieve. So it makes it easy with Flex. Right? It makes it easy with Flex, which I'm already demonstrating. Remember that you need to give the container display flex, and you need to give a width and height. You need to define a width and height for it, so that it's going to help you for your styles to, the content to be very flexible. That's actually the idea of Flex. It's just like flexible. So when you say flex wrap, let me see. So we want to bring it to the absolute middle or center. What we can do, we can say justify content center. So what does justify content center do? Justify content center runs on the x-axis. That's when I say x-axis, that's from left to right. It is going to move. It will justify the content along the x-axis. That's from left to right. So let me put that comment here to say that. So justify content will, let's just use the word justify your content. So you can still say just justify your content from left to right, like along the x-axis, left to right. That's what it will do. So you have a lot of values for this justify content, right? So you have justify content. You can say flex start. You see what happens. See, if you say flex start, look at it. It's by default. It starts from the beginning. Flex start, it goes to the far left. Flex end will go to the far right. Flex end. You see, flex end will go to the far right. And if you even inspect, it will still remain at the far right and will not give it, let me inspect it. So you see that it will be very responsive. Can you see? It has not created any extra spaces to your web page. You see, it just goes to, it will stick to your far right. It's still sticking to far right. Can you see? As you increase the width, it still sticks to far right. Can you see? And does not create any extra spaces for you to now start, can you see? It sticks to far right. And because I've also added flex wrap to wrap, so it's going to go to the next line. Whatever excess there is will go down. So you need to understand this. So this flex end. But let's do center, because I want to show you center. So it will go to the center automatically. It doesn't matter the screen size. So check all the screen sizes. It will be at the center. So with this, you don't need to trouble yourself to go to media query to say, oh, I want this to now be at the center. So I want it to be maybe margin left. Margin left should be this. Margin right should be this, just so that you push it to the center. You don't need to do all of that. So with Flexbox, it does the calculation for you and put it at the absolute center. Okay? That's absolute center from left to right now. So now you also want it to be at the center, like from top to bottom. You also now want it to still be at the center, because you want to place the content of this flex parent at the absolute center. So you come here. So what's the next? We have align items. So you say align item should be center. Yeah, so you can see it has calculated the middle or the center and has brought it to the center. And it brings it to the center from top to bottom. So align items is going to align the content or align the items vertically, right? Vertically from top to bottom, or in the y-axis from top to bottom. While justify content is going to align it horizontally. That's from left to right. So you need to take note of these are some of the fastest ways of, aligning your items, and from there you're on the go. So I've brought it to the absolute center. This is the absolute center in the X and in the Y axis. You don't need to use a lot of margin and be pushing it, say margin left, margin right, and be going up and down. And if you inspect, it's going to be at the absolute center of every screen size. So it's going to be at the absolute center, both top to bottom and left to right. So for this particular one, because I put flex wrap, remember that two of the boxes cannot stay in one line, because the screen size at this screen size, it shrinks it. So because I put flex wrap, so the second one is actually going to bring it down, remember. So you need to know these things and be aware of them. Yeah. So I think we'll stop here. We've done a lot.